Have you ever walked into a room and felt a shift in the energy? Not because of what you said or did, but simply because you entered? Have you noticed how some people gravitate toward you, while others seem uneasy in your presence? Even if you've never exchanged a word, that's not just your imagination, it's your aura. Your aura is the invisible energy field that surrounds your body. In spiritual terms, it's the vibration of your soul. In psychological terms, it's a reflection of your emotional intensity, your confidence, your awareness, and your authenticity. And when your aura is powerful, truly powerful, it has a noticeable effect on others. It can uplift them, challenge them, or even disturb them. You see, most people walk through life wearing emotional masks, pretending, pleasing, hiding. But when someone comes along with a pure, unfiltered energy, it exposes others without even trying. That's what a strong aura does. It reveals. It reveals who's being fake. It reveals who's insecure. It reveals who's threatened by your light. But having a powerful aura doesn't make you superior. It makes you responsible. Because the more powerful your energy, the more intense your impact. Some will admire you for it. Others will fear you. And many won't even understand why they feel the way they do around you. So how do you know if your aura is this powerful? Let's explore 13 signs grounded in psychology and human behavior that reveal just how strong your presence really is and why it might be disturbing those who aren't ready for it. 1. People get uncomfortable around you for no obvious reason. Have you ever noticed someone acting nervous, fidgety, or awkward around you, even though you've done nothing to provoke it? They might avoid eye contact, suddenly change the topic, or create distance. You start to wonder, did I say something wrong? But here's the truth. It's not about what you said, it's about what you represent. When you have a powerful aura, your presence alone can shine a light on the parts of others they try to hide. Your authenticity can make someone question their own facade. Your confidence can highlight their self-doubt. Your calmness can trigger their inner chaos. In psychology, this is known as emotional projection. People unconsciously project their inner world onto those around them. If they're uncomfortable with themselves, they'll feel uncomfortable around people who reflect what they lack. Especially someone who's grounded, self-aware, and unshaken. Your aura becomes a silent mirror. And mirrors don't lie. So if people get uneasy around you without clear cause, don't always blame yourself. It's possible your energy is stirring something within them that they haven't yet faced. 2. You often receive mixed reactions, admiration and intimidation. Powerful energy is polarizing. One moment, someone may praise you for your strength, your confidence, or your insight. The next, they might keep their distance or seem guarded. It can be confusing. Why the inconsistency? Because people don't know how to handle powerful energy. A strong aura isn't just charming, it's intense. And intensity makes people feel things they're not used to feeling. It can awaken admiration in those who are inspired by your light, and fear in those who feel overwhelmed by it. This duality is natural. In fact, psychologists explain this as a reaction to presence. When you carry yourself with intention, clarity, and stillness, you stand out. You're not blending in with the noise. You disrupt the social current. And disruption is uncomfortable for those used to emotional predictability. Some people are drawn to your mystery, others are suspicious of it. Some want to understand you, others want to avoid you, but all of them feel you. So if you've noticed people either loving you or keeping their distance with no middle ground, that's not a flaw. That's the impact of your powerful aura. 3. You speak less, but your presence says more. You don't need to talk a lot to be noticed. In fact, some of the most powerful individuals in the world are the ones who speak the least, but when they do, every word lands with weight. This is what psychologists call executive presence, a blend of emotional intelligence, calm confidence, and energetic control. It's the kind of presence that makes people stop scrolling, lean in, and listen. You might not be the loudest voice in the room, but your energy commands attention. You make people think, you make them feel, and you make them question things without saying much at all. It's because your aura communicates louder than your voice ever could. People with powerful auras are often quiet disruptors. They enter a space and immediately change its rhythm. Their silence isn't empty, it's full of meaning. Their stillness isn't passive, it's powerful. And because we live in a world addicted to noise, your quiet strength unsettles those who rely on constant validation and attention. You don't compete. You don't over-explain. You don't beg to be understood. You simply are. And in being that grounded, that self-assured, you disturb the egos of those still searching for themselves. 4. You trigger insecurities without trying. You've probably heard it before. Who do you think you are? You're too much. Or the classic silent treatment from people who suddenly act distant after being around you. Why does this happen? Because your aura brings up things people aren't ready to deal with. Your self-respect reminds them of how they settle. Your boundaries highlight where they lack them. Your vision reminds them that they've stopped dreaming. In other words, you don't trigger people because you're wrong. You trigger them because you're real. This phenomenon has roots in behavioral psychology, particularly in the concept of cognitive dissonance. When someone's internal beliefs or behaviors clash with what they experience externally, i.e., it creates discomfort. Their mind tries to resolve this dissonance, often by blaming the source of the discomfort, which is your energy. Your strength shines a light on their weakness. Your clarity exposes their confusion, and your passion magnifies their apathy. They may not even realize they're being triggered. It's often unconscious. But their behavior reveals it. They withdraw. They criticize. They try to dim you, but don't shrink to make others comfortable. Your aura is not a threat. It's a reminder of what's possible when someone chooses authenticity over approval. 5. People either deeply respect you or avoid you. There's very little in between. When your aura is strong, people tend to form intense opinions about you very quickly. They either admire your presence, respect your boundaries, and seek your company, or they keep their distance, avoid conversations, and may even speak behind your back. Why is there such a strong divide? Because a powerful aura doesn't allow for passive connections. You either click with someone on a deep level, or you don't. Shallow people feel exposed around you. Manipulators feel threatened, and those with hidden agendas find it hard to wear their mask in your presence. You don't even have to say much. Your energy does the screening. From a psychological perspective, this comes down to emotional clarity. People with strong auras tend to have high emotional intelligence. They're not easily manipulated. They recognize when something or someone is off, and they project an internal sense of alignment that others can feel but don't always understand. That intensity makes people choose, get real or get gone. So, if you notice that people are either loyal to you or disappear entirely, it's not a problem. It's your aura doing what it does best, filtering out anything that's not aligned with your frequency. 6. You have a naturally intense gaze or eye contact. Ever had someone tell you, "Your eyes are so intense," or "I feel like you see right through me"? That's no coincidence. The eyes are not just the window to the soul. They're the gateway of energy exchange. And when your aura is powerful, your eye contact becomes a force. It doesn't just look, it penetrates. People with strong auras tend to maintain deep eye contact, not to dominate or control, but because they're present, fully present. They're not distracted, they're with you. And that kind of presence is rare in a world full of pretense and performance. Psychologically, this intensity comes from what's known as attunement. It's the ability to emotionally and energetically connect to others in a way that feels deeply authentic. People feel seen when they look into your eyes, and being truly seen is both beautiful and terrifying. That's why some people can't hold your gaze for more than a few seconds. They look away, they get nervous, they fidget. Your energy is confronting, not because you're trying to intimidate, but because most people aren't used to being in the presence of someone who isn't hiding anything. So if your eyes make people shift in their seat, smile nervously, or pause mid-sentence, trust this. Your aura is speaking even when your mouth is not. 7. You expose hidden truths without saying a word. You walk into a room and suddenly the conversation shifts. People straighten up. Some get defensive. Others act like they've been caught red-handed, even if you haven't said anything. Why? Because your aura has the power to bring truth to the surface. This doesn't mean you're psychic, although some people might say you are. It means you're deeply attuned to energy, subtle shifts in tone, body language, and emotional patterns. You sense what others try to hide, and that ability, it makes people feel exposed. Psychologically, this can be linked to the Johari window, a model that shows how we all have parts of ourselves that are known to us, known to others, or hidden from both. When someone with a powerful aura enters the scene, they unknowingly activate those hidden windows in others. The things people are trying to suppress, deny, or forget suddenly feel visible. Your presence alone can push others into confrontation with themselves. That's a gift, but it's also a responsibility. Because not everyone wants to face the truth. Some people would rather stay in denial than evolve. So if you've ever been blamed for being too intense, too honest, or making people feel weird, understand this. You're not doing anything to them. You're simply being, and in being real, you reveal. 8. You're a mirror to other people's wounds. You may have noticed that people open up to you easily, even strangers. They tell you their life story. They confess things they haven't said out loud. Or they lash out, project, or distance themselves abruptly. That's because your aura acts like a mirror. And mirrors can be healing or uncomfortable. Spiritually speaking, a strong aura reflects not just energy, but truth. People see themselves more clearly in your presence. And if they're carrying emotional wounds, unhealed trauma, unresolved guilt, self-doubt, your energy brings those wounds closer to the surface. Sometimes that leads to breakthroughs. People feel lighter just talking to you. They feel understood, like they've finally been heard. Other times it leads to resistance. They feel judged, even when you're not judging. They feel attacked, even when you're being gentle. That's because their wounds are speaking, not them. In therapeutic psychology, this is called transference. People subconsciously project past experiences and unresolved emotions onto those who remind them of old dynamics. When you have a powerful, stabilizing energy, people may unconsciously treat you like a healer or a threat. You didn't ask for this, but your aura carries a frequency that activates emotional truth. So if people either pour their soul out to you or push you away violently, don't take it personally. It's not you they're reacting to. It's their own reflection through you. 9. Your energy shifts the mood of any room you enter. You walk into a room and suddenly it feels different, lighter, heavier, more focused, more intense. That's the power of your aura in motion. You don't need to speak. You don't need to make an entrance. Your presence alone alters the emotional temperature of the space. This is what's known as emotional contagion in psychology. The idea that emotions, energy, and vibes are transferable. People pick up on emotional signals subconsciously, and someone with a powerful aura transmits signals so clearly, others can't help but respond. If you're calm, the room gets quieter. If you're focused, others become more alert. If you're angry, the tension becomes palpable, even if you haven't said a word. And if you're joyful, people can feel lighter just being around you. That's the thing about energy. It's always communicating, and yours speaks volumes. So if you've been told you change the vibe, or people seem to notice when you enter or leave, you're not imagining it. Your aura is a live frequency, one that other people tune into whether they realize it or not. 10. People confide in you or avoid deep conversations altogether. You're either the person others pour their heart out to or the one they avoid opening up to entirely. There's rarely a middle ground. This is because your aura makes people feel something they can't always explain, safe or seen. When someone feels safe with you, they'll share secrets, emotions, even pain they haven't voiced in years. You become the emotional container they've been searching for. But not everyone is ready for that level of emotional vulnerability. In fact, for some, it's terrifying. That's why others may avoid deep conversations with you altogether. They'll keep things surface level, make jokes to deflect, or shut down emotionally. It's not that you're doing anything wrong, it's that they're not ready to reveal the parts of themselves that your energy naturally invites to the surface. Psychologically, this reflects a person's window of tolerance, their capacity to handle emotional intensity. When your aura carries depth and awareness, it challenges the people around you to step into emotional honesty. Some embrace it, others retreat from it. Either way, your presence forces emotional clarity, and that's rare. 11. You don't chase, but people are drawn to you. People often notice that you're not the one always texting, calling, or seeking attention. You're not chasing approval. You don't try to prove your worth. And yet, people come to you. Why? Because your aura is magnetic. True power doesn't chase, it attracts. And when your aura is aligned with confidence, peace, and authenticity, others feel it. They feel pulled toward you without even knowing why. This is rooted in psychology's law of attraction and frequency alignment. People naturally move toward energies that feel stable, empowering, and elevated. It's not about manipulation or control. It's about resonance. You may notice that even people who initially seemed indifferent eventually return to your orbit. Sometimes months or even years later, they remember how your presence made them feel. They remember the calm, the clarity, the depth. And they realize it's not something they find everywhere. So if you're not chasing people, and yet they keep returning or seeking your energy, take it as a sign your aura is doing the work your words never had to. 12. You make narcissists and manipulators uncomfortable. There's a certain type of person who simply cannot stand your presence. The narcissist, the manipulator, the emotional puppeteer. Why? Because your aura sees through them. Narcissists thrive on control, illusion, and admiration. They manipulate others through charm, confusion, and fear. But when they encounter someone with a strong aura, someone who doesn't fall for their games, they feel threatened. You don't flatter their ego. You don't play along with their drama. You don't get caught in their traps. Your energy is rooted, clear, and self-possessed, and that's their worst nightmare. Psychologically, this is linked to empath-narcissist dynamics. Empaths, especially those with strong boundaries and self-awareness, repel narcissists because they reflect everything the narcissist tries to hide: shame, insecurity, and emotional dependence. Your aura exposes the truth they work hard to cover up. So if toxic individuals avoid you, attack you subtly, or try to diminish your light, it's because they know they can't manipulate you, and deep down they envy your clarity. Let them be uncomfortable. That's not your burden to carry. 13. You feel spiritually or energetically different, even alone. Even when you're by yourself, you can feel it, this sense of difference, of awareness, of depth that doesn't quite match the people around you. You might feel like an old soul in a chaotic world. You might crave solitude, nature, or silence more than the average person. You might be deeply affected by energies, sounds, or even global events. This isn't just sensitivity, it's energetic alignment. Your aura isn't just powerful, it's evolved. You've likely been through emotional storms, spiritual awakenings, and internal transformations that have refined your energy into something rare and radiant. And with that comes separation. Not because you're better than anyone, but because your path is different. You vibrate at a higher frequency. You're tuned into emotions, patterns, and unseen layers of reality that most people overlook. That can feel lonely sometimes, but it's also a sign that you're meant to lead, heal, or guide in ways others cannot. Feeling different isn't a flaw. It's confirmation that your aura has outgrown certain people, places, and patterns. So, what does all this mean? If you've resonated with most, or even a few of these signs, there's something you need to understand. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to shift the room, to carry a presence that awakens, to reflect what's real, to remind others of what they've forgotten about themselves. Your aura is your power. But here's the challenge. The world isn't always kind to powerful auras. People may misunderstand you, project onto you, distance themselves, try to humble you. But none of that is a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their wounds. And while you're not responsible for how others feel in your presence, you are responsible for how you carry that power. Use it to heal, use it to lead, use it to protect your peace, but also to uplift others who are ready to grow. Because even if your aura disturbs some, it inspires many more. You don't have to shrink to be accepted. You don't have to soften to be liked. You don't have to dim to make others comfortable. Own your light. Protect your energy. And walk through this world knowing that your very presence speaks what your words never have to. Because when your aura is powerful, your silence is louder than most people's noise. Now that you know the signs, ask yourself this. What are you going to do with the power you carry?